Hello, beautiful, lovely people. Your listening practice today is me telling you all about the books I wrote, why I made them, and how they benefit your learning, and life lessons I learned while making them. I'm Tristan, and on this channel I speak in intermediate English about many topics to help you pick up English naturally. And remember, you can change the speed of the podcast in your settings. 4 years ago, I had a dream. 4 years ago, I thought I'd love to make beautiful, simple English storybooks. The most beautiful, simple books ever. Of all time. So, the last 6 months, I rewrote classics. Snow White, Peter Pan, Frankenstein, in intermediate English. Because my favorite way of learning languages is reading simple texts. But these simple texts can often be boring, right? Boring and lifeless. How about we make simple storybooks that are not boring? Stories that thrill, stories that will make you laugh, that will make you cry, with beautiful scenes and beautiful dialogue. Dialogue meaning the speaking of characters. That also translates new vocabulary too. Hundreds of new vocabulary in each book in many different languages.
In the woods we wander, hand in hand we ponder. By the castle yonder, love is like a thunder.
The first one is now available on my new site, simpleenglishbooks.com. Simpleenglishbooks.com. It is Snow White, an absolute classic story. Snow White, a PDF ebook for your smartphone or laptop with audio. And it's not written by just a random paid writer taking 1 week, but me writing it with all of my little heart. Each book took many weeks to be enjoyable, enough that you can read many times, something you can treasure. Also, I'm a perfectionist, which is actually really difficult to live with. It's like a mental disease. So here is the story of creating them. Six months ago, I started writing them. You see, I used to write when I was younger, poems, poetry, as well as songs, and used to write music for video and film too. But to write storybooks is a different art. So I did many courses in storytelling. So what makes a good story? So today we'll learn a bit about what makes a good story. Some of the things a story needs are characters the reader cares about. There needs to be something called conflict. There needs to be suspense. There needs to be mystery. Things where we think, what is it?
giving the reader questions. Why is this happening? Why is that happening? For example, she got home and she lived alone, but she could hear the shower upstairs. Someone was in her house. Who is it? What's going to happen next? Right? And this creates the tension needed for a story. The tension is what makes the reader turn to the next page and the next page and the next page, wondering what's going to happen next, wanting the answers to the questions that you've given them. Why is there a body in the kitchen? Yeah? Why is there the sound of a child crying in the forest, etc.? They want the answers, right? So that's tension created by the mystery. Also, there has to be consequences. If a character does not succeed in what they're trying to do, there has to be real consequences. Consequences, meaning the bad things that happen if the character does not succeed. These are the elements of making a good story.
A good story needs characters you care about. You care about what happens to the character. And the main character is not perfect, though, just like any human being. And the thing that makes them not perfect is their challenge that they have to overcome. In the story, there has to be an obstacle or challenge, a thing that gets in their way, that stops them getting what they want. This is the conflict of the story. The conflict. The character must overcome this. And in overcoming it, they improve and learn and develop as a human being. In the example of Snow White is very trusting, right? Trusting and naive. She trusts everyone. The evil queen, the hunter. She trusts the old woman who gives her the poisoned apple. But after she gets poisoned and nearly dies, then she learns that you must be careful about who you trust. She learns to not be so naive. And the evil queen, she loses everything, loses her kingdom, her family, all because of her greed and wanting to be the most beautiful woman in the world. Both these characters learned something and improved, developed as a human being. As well as conflict, every chapter must have what we call suspense. Suspense. Suspense is the feeling of, oh my God, what's gonna happen next? What's gonna happen next? Suspense. It's what keeps people turning the page. It's what keeps people reading. Also, you need moments of mystery. Mystery. Mystery is the feeling of, what does it mean? What does it mean? Or something you want to know. What's behind the door? Why is he taking her to the forest? What's inside the box? The mystery. Also, moments of surprise. Surprise. Surprise is the feeling of, oh my God, I can't believe that just happened. Well, something happens, and then the reader is like, I can't believe it happened. Something surprises the reader. You need many elements to make a good story. Also, there must be consequences. If it goes wrong, consequences. If the character fails does not overcome the obstacle, the conflict, then a consequence happens.
Consequences could be, for example, the character's love marries another man, or he loses his kingdom, or her friend dies. Many consequences.
We can do a longer episode in the future about storytelling. If you like, let me know. A quick tip about writing. In your writing, try to remove anything unnecessary. Good writing says a lot in a few words. So try to say your meaning in as few words as possible. So, for example, instead of she walked very quickly to the store, say she rushed to the store. Instead of, for example, he was of the opinion that the plan would work, say he thought the plan would work. Yeah? Next topic, perfectionism.
Maybe this is a topic that some of you can relate to.
So I was making great progress with these books, but then there was another problem. Perfectionism. To be a perfectionist means everything you do has to be absolutely perfect to the best of your ability. Like you will take weeks and weeks doing something that takes other people just a few days. Are any of you a perfectionist? Any perfectionists out there, tell me in the comments. Making music. I once spent 6 months making just 2 songs. And most of that time was just doing one song. Yeah. And for writing songs, one song took me over 8 years. And it still isn't finished. I just abandoned it. I left it maybe 10 years ago. I think I started writing it when I was about 15 and I left it when I was 25. So maybe 10 years I tried to write it. It's mad. I used to be that much of a perfectionist. I used to be worse than I am now. So a perfectionist, is very difficult for them to decide something is finished. They'll spend many days making small changes. They'll change it in one way, and then after 2 days, change it back again. That they can't let go. Yeah? I struggle to let go of it, the creative project. And for any perfectionists out there, I heard of a wonderful quote, a great quote that said, "A piece of art is never finished. A piece of art is abandoned." Or said simpler, a piece of art is never finished. It is just left. I wrote my own simple English version of Peter Pan. Peter Pan that I'm very proud of, but it took me about 6 weeks. 7,500 words, 6 weeks, but it should have taken maybe 3 weeks at the most. Still, that's better than 8 years, right? So, progress has been made. We live and we learn. So, I needed somebody to record the stories, to record the audio tracks. Well, I have a microphone. I'm not an actor, but, I can try. Sometimes I was a hero sounding a little bit like Buzz Lightyear. Sometimes I was a lost young girl in the forest. Sometimes I was a king. Spin the straw into gold by morning, or you'll go to the darkest prison. And sometimes I was an old witch. Hello, dear. Here is a beautiful, juicy red apple. It's the sweetest thing you'll ever taste. Fun. It was all fun. So in summary, it's done. 4 books that I'm proud of. They will definitely help people learn English and improve their vocabulary. I'm 100% confident in them. They are PDF ebooks. To do the translations into many different languages, I used 2 AIs. One to translate, and the second AI to check the translations so you can easily understand it. And for some languages, Russian, Spanish, French, Vietnamese, I was able to get friends to help me check it.
And for other languages, such as Polish, Turkish, and Chinese, I was able to get freelancers on Fiverr.com, and they checked it for me. So it's all checked, professional.
All the stories have beautiful pictures, audio recording, an audio that hopefully has a better sound than the podcast from before. So you can listen to it while shopping, listen to it, while gardening, or even let me send you to sleep. Each book has recommended activities, including pronunciation and speaking exercises using the audio tracks. The stories are all classics from hundreds of years ago, but rewritten in simple English. So for the first one is Snow White. Snow White is a classic story. Snow White, a beautiful princess who's very kind and very sweet, but she has a jealous stepmother who is jealous of her beauty. And the jealous stepmother wants to end her, wants to kill her. So it's quite dark. Actually, some of my stories are quite dark, to be honest. The original ones, not the kids' Disney ones, the original. So Snow White runs away and hides. She hides in a forest and lives with a group of dwarves, like small people, dwarves. She lives with a group of dwarves and animals in the forest. But the evil stepmother knows where she lives and tries to get her in a few ways. Famously, she uses a poisoned apple. An apple full of poison. Ooh, what will happen next in the dark forests of Germany? What will happen next to Snow White? Well, you can find out by getting the book on my new domain, simpleenglishbooks.com, link below. It's very cheap. the same price as a coffee. Well, the same price as a Starbucks coffee, let's say. Oh, a final thought about that biting an apple. What's interesting about the evil queen using an apple to poison Snow White is, don't you find it's so similar to Adam and Eve? Adam bites an apple, right? He bites the apple to get knowledge. Knowledge. And what is the logo? The logo for Apple. Apple, the computer company. The logo for Apple is a bitten apple. An apple with a bite mark. I always thought it was such a cool logo. Anyways, that's not besides the point. That's enough for today. So have a beautiful week. Thank you for letting me share what I have done and what I've learned in the last 6 months of my life. So take care, everyone. Have a beautiful time and see you in 2 weeks. Okay? Goodbye.